Okay, I hope this video records. I usually go back in the old days here on YouTube. I would record not live, but I hope this records and I'm able to save it. Um, Over the since February, I have been engaging with 100X, Pedro Adeo, Holly Peel, um, Elise, who has introduced me to Immanuel Inner Healing. And that's what I want to talk about today is these inner healing experiences. And I wanted to share this on YouTube. So this is a journey that I truly want to engage in and be a part of and train for, to be able to do an Immanuel inner healing practitioner. This morning, I listened to one of her inner healing sessions, Immanuel Inner Healing sessions, and I want to speak to anyone that has a servant's heart. And there was a healing that was required for me to enter into because prior to the trauma of my son dying by his completion of suicide, my servant's heart had entered into a huge realm of serving. And I need to record this for myself. It began in 2011. I'd worked for 30 years already in physical therapy, and we're known from the womb, and God purposed me as a healing agent in the field of physical therapy, and my hands were used in manual therapy because that was my gift. That's also my love language, is touch. So of course he would use my love language of touch to give and receive. And I saw lots of spontaneous miracles sometimes from him in that realm of physical therapy. I remember the most profound touch to this lady's back. She was doing a little exercise. It was my first day to see her. I'd gone as a stand-in therapist in Lenore City. And I touched her back and I heard her spine go boop, like every vertebra came into alignment, and she just jumped up and she said, "I'm healed. I have no pain." Of course, neither of us realized at that moment that it was a spontaneous healing appointment from God. I was surprised because I was an agent on hand, and I think she was surprised, and neither of us, if you're not in a church setting where you're being surrounded by healing prayers, it's a total surprise to receive a healing like that. Another time was during a hands-on session with a patient, and his neck basically was healed, and he felt like he wasn't going to have neck surgery. But you're in that realm of healing. It's an appointment for healing, but we're surprised by that spontaneous healing. But I've seen the over times. It was like I was thinking yesterday about those times when I would get a download of how to help this person that I was dealing with in physical therapy. And it was in the realm that I was trained for, but yet it was an insight into the treatment that day for that person that would bring comfort and release from pain. This Immanuel healing is a deep, reflective meditation time. It's similar to mindfulness, but it's totally, I have had a mindfulness session, to restore from trauma. And I know what that is like. And you're not really focused on your Savior or Jesus, or you're not asking Jesus questions during a mindfulness. And that's what sets Immanuel apart, is that you're engaging totally with Jesus as your healer, as he is Immanuel, God with you in that moment. And this moment is September the 23rd, 2020. And I need to record this because it is engaging the heart of a servant. And I remember serving, I took a sabbatical from physical therapy. 2011 was a year just prior to 2012, of course. And I felt like God had told me to take a year, and I remember the desire of my heart wanting to be like Mary with her alabaster box, opening that precious life oil that she gave to him. And he said, leave her alone because she has done this for my burial. Of course, Jesus doesn't have to die again. Jesus doesn't have to be buried again. But I knew that the worth of that precious ointment and perfume and oil was her dowry, as she married him in that moment. That's how I see it. And she smelled like him, and they smelled like each other because she put that on him, but it got all over her. It says she, dried his feet with her hair, and it was, study it in Luke. But anyway, in 2011, I began a journey, and I took my 401k, I took my retirement plan, and I sewed it into the lives of an extremely poor community. It was a little community. It was in my own community of Paint Rock, very small, very humble. And it was a used clothing store. And the lady that I joined hearts with, her name was Vicki Jones. And we became dear, dear heart friends during that time. And I took that retirement, which I don't have anymore because I gave it the servant's heart, and I gave it, I'm just going to be very vulnerable and very blunt. I mean, it wasn't a tremendous amount as some people's 401ks would be, because it was still going to grow. If I had left it there, it would grow, and it would have been quite substantial now had I completed to add to that. But I felt like I was to give that in ministry. So I did. I won't say that it brought fulfillment. It actually brought pain and sacrifice, and didn't end well. But the healing moment from that is today. I gave probably $20,000 to that ministry. The ministry at the time was needing a new vehicle, but so was I. So, it was like, okay, God, I'll do my part and then you do your part. But that's not exactly how it unfolds in life. Of course, there was a lot of needs in my life, and I just wanted to be a servant and a servant's heart. And so I gave $20,000 to the ministry, and the ministry bought a vehicle, a little Jeep, that would, in a used clothing ministry to the poor, you have to have storage. So I also came into her life and provided her with a storage facility through the gracious use of my father-in-law, because he had storage units. And for this ministry, being a 501c3, she could store her there were a lot of people were donating to her. They were bringing in their used clothing and used household goods, things that they didn't want, but she had to have storage. So at the time, I was a vehicle where she could get her storage. And I was a vehicle for helping her in the used clothing store. And we also entered into a women's ministry at the time, a widow's ministry. We also did ministry to the Cherokee over in Cherokee, North Carolina, to they had a food pantry, but they didn't have a clothes closet. So we helped establish a clothes closet in Cherokee, North Carolina for a church called Living Waters. And it was a beautiful, 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 beautiful time. So thankful and so glorious. But as all good things come to an end, so did my ministry there with her. And, the enemy will take something beautiful and the enemy will weave a way in to hurt us and to take away. He comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So I'm just going to share that, and then I'm going to share the healing, and that will be the end of this video. The enemy came in with jealousy, bitter jealousy. The enemy came in with wrong motives, wrong heart motives. And the enemy came in to kill, steal, and destroy. And that's exactly what happened. There was the widow's ministry had grown significantly over the past 4 years that Vicki and I were assisting with the widow's ministry. It had grown significantly, and there was going to be this huge conference that we were engaging with. And unbeknownst to me during that time, I had redirected some of my energy, because during that time of the enemy coming in to kill, steal, and destroy, my sons were undergoing, and that was the way of the enemy. And I wasn't mature enough to know how to protect my sons and my family and myself from enemy attack. So my sons were entering into a type of mental illness because of alcohol addiction. And of course, the widow's ministry was really praying diligently for this. And so I was, because of of course, us mothers, us mama bears, we will do anything to protect our children and help our children. So I was spending more time engaging in efforts to protect my sons, and I wasn't giving the time to the widow's ministry. So I thought I was still engaging and doing what I was supposed to. And I was going to meetings, I was helping with stuff, but because of my distraction, things had to go a different way with Vicki and a wonderful friend of hers. And I was totally unaware. I guess what I expected to happen, but this was an expectation on my part, I expected to be kept in the loop of communication about what was going on. And I think the leader of the widow's ministry thought this was happening. I think she thought that Vicki was still, including me in conversations about what was going on, but that was not happening. So when some things happened and unfolded and I wasn't included or even in the loop, then I was surprised. I was surprised, and I was taken by surprise. And several of us in the widow's ministry were under attack during this time. Her, the administrator of her videoing, and he was the business leader. He was under severe attack. And I think it was just something coming from the enemy, and we weren't prepared for this type of attack. He came under attack. One of the women that traveled with her when she would go to minister to the widows in India, and she came under attack. She was a beautiful, beautiful intercessor. She was part of the heart team. We were all part of the team, but she was under attack. The business leader was under attack, and I was feet on the ground, soldier, warrior, intercessor, meeting 2 times a week. And actually we were preparing the paper. I mean, we were accomplishing lots of, we were actually developing a manual. I was her for HUGS, HUGGS. It was a huge undertaking of intercession prayer, and how to train and equip the saints with engaging in this widow's ministry. So a severe attack came on the 3 of us. I'm going to tell you real quick what ended up happening with us, the 3 of us that became under severe attack. My son completed suicide, so I was traumatized. I found him, so I was completely taken out by the attack. David, I'm just going to say his name, his son, to this day, and his son may have died. We've lost contact with each other because the attacks on our lives were so severe. But his son needed an organ transplant, and he was on life support. I don't know. He did get that organ. I don't remember if it was a kidney. I think it was a kidney, because his kidneys had shut down and he was on life support. And the kidney failed. So it was tragic. And of course, they withdrew from the widow's ministry. I withdrew from the widow's ministry. Kathy started having strokes, and she had severe strokes, debilitating strokes. She was living in West Virginia. She has now moved to East Tennessee, Knoxville. She has had another stroke here recently. So a servant's heart. And if you're called into ministry, don't think it's going to be an easy ride, and don't think it's you will come under attack. And you know, I was listening to David Jeremiah this morning about pouring out. You know, the old sacrificial system was, you know, an animal on the altar, and that altar would get, like, he called it red hot or white hot, so that when things were poured there, they would disintegrate. And the drink offering, you may be poured out as a drink offering. The drink offering was when the person bringing their animals sacrifice would would also bring a drink offering, and wine would be poured upon that white hot altar, and it would be vaporized immediately. So it was a vapor, and so would that animal sacrifice. But I'm going to keep this video short, and I will come on and do another video about the heart healing that I received this morning from my woundedness coming from this season of sacrifice and trauma. You know, David and Lori went through extreme trauma with their son, and I went through extreme trauma losing my son. And Kathy has gone through extreme trauma from these strokes. So I wanted to set the stage for where we were. And I'm going to end this video. I'm not going to end it caught up in the trauma, but I'm going to go over into another video. I just want to keep these video healing experiences. Okay, this sets the stage for why the healing is needed. So I encourage you to, if you have a servant's heart and you've experienced trauma and you need to heal, your servant's heart needs to heal, I highly recommend that you watch the next video. So I'm going to end this live stream right now, and I hope I can save it to my video page here. Thank you for watching, and I'm signing off in the fullness of love. Thank you.